Alright guys, it has been a summer of little engines that could. First, we saw it with Talk to Me, and hopefully once this starts opening into a wider base of theaters, we'll start seeing it with Bottoms as well. So far, the reception of this wacky, outlandish teen comedy has been fantastic, and I just want to continue to see it grow, and I am just so ecstatic that people are really enjoying this movie. If you're a diligent watcher of my videos or follow me on other social medias, you will know that I've been talking about Bottoms since March. I was fortunate enough to catch the world premiere at South by Southwest. We got the full cast and director Q&A, and it was just such an amazing experience. And I was even lucky enough to accost Emma Seligman before the premiere of a different movie, so look at me go. But I am sure that it is no surprise that I am hyped on this movie. Emma Seligman is the writer and director of Shiva, which is another movie I've covered and love deeply. And this is her second feature film, once again starring Rachel Sennott, who also co-wrote this one with her. And then on top of that, the cast is just stacked. It's co-starring edebiri, who's just having an insanely stacked year with this, The Bear, Theater Camp, TMNT. She is just all over the place and fantastic. The douche jock is played by Nicholas Galitzine, who we just saw in Red, White, and Royal Blue, but it was after making that video that I realized he's also the prince from that really kind of not so great Cinderella remake. I was just so focused on him being the Purple Hearts guy that I didn't even notice. But you know, it's just really nice to see that he's finally getting the chance to do some real cinema.
Don't talk to me, you ugly bitch, okay? I do not talk to girls in overalls.
But Bottoms is this beautiful mashup of like the 90s and early 2000s teen comedy with modern zillennial humor, and it's just fantastic. The no spoiler premise is that two high school girls end up starting a girls' fight club to get laid before college under the guise of self-defense. And it's just this absolutely absurd comedy that's still so loaded with heart underneath. And while I'm sure some people aren't gonna vibe with this style of comedy, that's okay. It just means it's not for them, but it still just feels so authentic even when it's at its most absurd because it's trying to keep some core aspects like very grounded. Maybe not very grounded, but you know, there's something there that you can at least hold on to. And I just think this is a movie that's gonna end up meaning so much to so many people. And if you've seen the movie or go on to see the movie, you'll probably think I'm talking a little bit overly wholesome about it, but no, these obscene teen comedies, coming of age stories are just this kind of like rite of passage, and it's great to see them finally being told from a lot of different angles. Because girls can be the horny little weirdos too. It's high school. Everyone's figuring themselves out, looking for connections. There's lots of hormones, like it's no excuse for bad behavior, but everyone has to learn how to not be shitty, how to not be shallow about the people that they like. Like they're absolutely in the wrong with what they're doing, but just like the gays deserve their rom-com Christmas movies, the gays also deserve their horny teenage comedy. And I bet these horny little weirdos take advantage of VPNs all the time to conceal their browser history, which is a perfect job for today's sponsor, Surfshark. Surfshark VPN allows you to connect to one of their thousands of different server locations around the world so your internet thinks you're in that location. So say you want to watch Shiva right now in preparation for Bottoms, Emma Seligman's first movie, but oh no, it's not playing on Netflix in the US. Well, all you have to do is connect to a Canadian server location and boom, cinema. Because I don't currently have a VHS player for this tape. And even on top of all the unlocked content on streaming services, people always try to send me like stand-up routines or SNL sketches, and I keep getting this dreaded, this content isn't available where you live screen. Well, not anymore. So let Surfshark open up your world today, because life's just too short for region-locked content. It's super fast, secure, blocks unwanted ads, and if you're not completely satisfied, they offer a 30-day back money guarantee. So make sure to click the link in the description down below to try out Surfshark for yourself and use code JEDI to get an additional 3 months free. And I think right now there's this weird struggle with like shitty protagonists and themes, especially with like aspects going towards like unhealthy relationship aspects. And even if the point of the movie is to show someone learning like not to be that way, some people just really struggle with that distinction, and Bottoms feels like it's operating in this space to show it's okay for people to suck. Not every single depiction has to be this like perfect, curated, exact copy-paste thing. It's just what you do with the sucking as a creator that matters. Not to throw shade at anyone else, I have another Colleen Hoover video on the way, and she's kind of my prime example of really missing the point of how to deal with shitty behavior in characters or just totally taking the wrong answer to the problems you've set up. And I feel like Emma and Rachel just really nailed it. I know Emma specifically wanted something that felt like it was in the vein of Superbad, where it's like literally two guys trying to get alcohol to get to a party so they can have sex with the girls they like, or an American Pie, where it's literally a group of guys who are trying to have sex before they graduate, but for the gays. And without having to get hung up on the whole like coming out aspect. And look, I love a good coming out story, but sometimes it's just unneeded. In this situation, everyone in the school knows they're gay and it has nothing to do with why people don't like them. And during our Q&A, they specifically mentioned watching Debs a ton while making this, and Debs is one of my all-time favorite movies and one of my like gay teen staples throughout high school, and tonally there are so many similarities. I really need to talk about Debs soon. But Bottoms is hilarious and it's near constant comedy, so you don't even have to worry that like all the good jokes were wasted in the trailer, unlike so many other comedy movies that come out. But it's also like hyper violent without being gratuitous or hard to watch. And like all good coming of age stories with teens being little shits, hopefully they're learning to be less shitty. Because it does such a good job touching on these issues that so many girls go through, and I guess young people in general, while also acknowledging that girls can be on the other side of that treatment. Seligman and Sennott just really strike this balance between the ridiculous tone of the comedy, the brutality of the events, and then like the genuine nature of these characters and how they progress throughout the story. And it's using that absurdity to like point fun at its like real world counterpoints and with other movies in that kind of genre, making it like the best kind of satire because it's still a great example of the genre that it's operating in. So like kind of like what Scream was to slasher movies, but with a little bit more of the tone of a scary movie maybe, but maybe not quite that far, but a little bit more of that tone. So you'll be safe from spoilers here for a little bit, though again, not really a movie you can spoil. Like I just managed to catch this a second time in Toronto and it was still amazing. The jokes still land, the emotions still hit. And if anything, I think I might have even liked it more on second watch. But I'll let you know when we might be getting into some stuff that you may want to avoid without having seen the movie. But either way, this has my glowing stamp of approval. And if anything I just said sounds at all interesting, please check out Bottoms. I think it's finally starting to release into more theaters. Also, just really quick on top of everything else, the music in this is absolutely fantastic. Like the song choices, the score, and like the choices of when to put certain needle drops and swells, just But diving in a little bit more with our characters, PJ and Josie are desperately trying to lose their virginities before graduation to their cheerleader crushes, Isabel and Brittany.
Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Guess that's you guys.
Big issue is they're hot, they're popular, and they're probably definitely straight. Isabel specifically is dating the ultra airhead jock douche of the school, Jeff, who has a reputation for cheating, again played by Nick Galitzine. The range this man has. I also want to point out that Havana Rose Liu is like very sweet as Isabel. Like she did great. Even when she's delivering lines that are absolutely absurd, she does it in this way that feels earnest, which actually just makes it funnier than if she was really playing into it.
I really value when people use violence for me. It's actually one of my love languages.
I also got to say a quick little hi to her before the premiere of Joyride when she was with Molly Gordon. And I think I kind of made an ass out of myself, but she was really nice. They won't remember, so it doesn't matter. And Kaya Gerber is really good as Brittany. She's supposed to be the stereotypical mean hot girl, but takes it that extra step. Like there's this one moment towards the end of the movie, and she just does so much with like a look, just a look of like, okay, well, I guess things are just gonna be the same. Like we'll touch on it more later in the spoiler section. I just thought it was really good. Obviously, Sennott and Edebiri are fantastic, but Seligman and Sennott present us with these two protagonists that seem fairly different in terms of like behavior, but they're both doing the same thing. Sennett's PJ is like the much more aggressive and overtly horny of the two. She's the one that pushes for the club. She's a lot more raunchier with what she wants and what her intentions are, while Edebiri's Josie just seems a lot more passive and kind of sweet and a lot more shy and nervous, but they both value these girls they have crushes on based on their appearances. Literally, once they get the fight club going and just like the first little round of people show up, PJ's first statement is, "These girls are all ugly." So even though we hate Jeff and the other football players and think they're douches, it's not like PJ and Josie are being much better. Everyone is objectifying these girls for their own personal desires. But it all starts with the carnival to kick off the new school year, where their friend Hazel starts questioning what happened to Josie's arm. Starts throwing out wild statements until she lands on like, "Oh my god, did you guys go to juvie?" Which PJ just deadpans, "Yes, Hazel, it happened in juvie."
You were the one who said we went to juvie. I just didn't correct you.
Not a direct quote, but you get it. But Hazel doesn't necessarily get sarcasm, so a rumor quickly starts to spread that the two did time in juvie, and it's starting to get them a little bit of attention. Not at the carnival, though. Things aren't going great.
Hey, Brittany!
PJ, you look like a little Dutch boy.
Thank you. You want a hot dog? We could go get hot dogs.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could get the bun.
No
the ketchup.
bun.
You gotta get the bun. Good. No.
You know, I definitely felt some flirtation from Brittany there, but no, it doesn't work. However, Isabel ends up getting into a fight with Jeff, so PJ encourages Josie to offer her a ride home.
Get out of the car.
You can't tell me what to do!
Yeah, no, he can't.
Don't talk to me, you ugly bitch, okay? I do not talk to girls in overalls.
Okay, I might be ugly, but these aren't overall.
Amazing, that's basically step one. But all that leads to the tap. It's all just so delightfully ridiculous. And Isabel liked that they stood up for her, so it's going pretty good until the principal tries to punish them for grazing Jeff's knee, which is how it all gets spun into a lie about them starting the self-defense club for women of the school because they don't feel safe leading into the big fight with their rival school.
Like a fight club?
Yes! Yes!
Like, people are literally being attacked.
Maybe I should buy a gun.
Okay, what? Don't buy a gun. Nobody said buy a gun.
So thankfully, they get off with a warning, but now PJ actually wants to start that club. She sees it as a way for them to get closer to Brittany and Isabel, who seem mildly impressed by their juvie tales. I don't see what the big deal is. PJ just really wants to lie about their fighting abilities so she can get some vagine.
Punching each other, adrenaline is flowing. Next thing you know, Isabel and Brittany are kissing us on the mouth.
Meanwhile, sweet Hazel here is just actually thinking it's a good idea.
There's a serious lack of female solidarity at this school.
Not the point, Hazel.
PJ will then, of course, go on to use that line to recruit more women. So yeah, all of our jock douches are douches, but our leading ladies' motives aren't particularly altruistic. Hazel just really is the wholesome good of this story. So they get the clip started, and it really mainly is just girls punching themselves in the face, but it's working. They're feeling empowered. Brittany and Isabel even start showing up. Isabel because she actually seems genuinely interested and actually kind of likes Josie, and Brittany because she just does whatever Isabel does. And yes, one of the members that's introduced with something to the effect of, Sylvie's kinda cute if she lost her braces and stopped huffing paint.
I'll be able to kill my stepdad.
Awesome.
Okay.
Is the character that you little shits keep calling my doppelganger when we don't even look that similar.
Fuck.
And honestly, I'm just mad that it's not me. I would have played the unhinged screaming girl who wants to kill her stepdad just to be in this movie. It's okay that I'm old, that's half the fun, casting like 20-something, maybe 30-year-olds as high schoolers. It's part of the commentary. Now the club needs an advisor, so they pick Mr. G mainly because they assume he won't actually show up, but shockingly he gets super into it once they convince him that breaking each other's noses is totally fine.
Let's get it poppin' in this motherfucker.
But he's played by Marshawn Lynch, who is apparently a football player, so him being hilarious was extra fun for football fans, I guess. I had no idea, but he is really fun.
You created a fucking fight club to get some coochie. You don't even know how to work that thing.
Though even that ends up being sweet behind the scenes.
The reason that he wanted to do this was because his sister's gay and he felt like he didn't handle that in the best way in high school, and that this was his way of the universe giving him a chance to right his wrongs.
So just like that, they go from being losers to two of the most popular people in the school, and best part, Brittany and Isabel actually seem to like them as people.
Fight me off, PJ. Stop smiling.
Okay, that moment was actually just really good. Rachel, why are you so good at acting? But the club is starting to upset the school hierarchy. Girls being distracted away from the football team is not okay, especially when they're about to face their greatest rivals.
Do you know how long we've been working toward this?
Yes. It's everywhere.
20 years.
Couldn't be clearer.
So here's probably where we're gonna start sliding into some spoilers that you wouldn't have been able to really infer from the commercials or the trailers, I would assume. So just go see the movie, please, if you can. Though, again, this is a movie that is just so driven by its dialogue and humor, not necessarily the specific events that happen. So, either way, see it, but I ain't gonna ruin anything. But what really sets off the school into a tizzy is when Isabel finds out that Jeff's been cheating on her with Hazel's mom.
I literally saw you yesterday.
Shut up, nerd! I fucked your mom!
So the club goes scorched earth on him. Kinda literally. They're out tossing ideas of revenge, the typical, the toilet paper, the egging, but then Hazel suggests blowing up his car. And I wish I had the clip of Rachel just once again deadpanning with a, yeah, Hazel, let's do terrorism. Because as mentioned, Hazel does not do sarcasm, so she actually blows up his car. Right when Isabel was about to kiss Josie! Which kind of pushes them to disband the club before they get in trouble, which obviously makes PJ pissed at Hazel, so Miles, Jeff's #1 man, swoops in to try try to help and get that inside info on the club. He's been very upset that bad things are happening to Jeff. But even though the club is ending, Isabel actually still seems super into Josie, and yeah, they get it on.
I really value when people use violence for me. It's actually one of my love languages.
And then you think maybe the same thing's gonna happen to PJ. She's like over at Brittany's house to study. Seems like they're having fun. They're being flirty. But then PJ goes for the kiss and Brittany's like, I'm straight. Ooh, it still sucks. And now the big drama starts stirring. Miles decides to put the club to the test because, girls can do anything guys can. So he told Hazel that she'd be doing a fight demonstration at the pep rally against PJ. But it was actually against the school's #1 wrestler who they have to keep in a cage. They will never acknowledge the cage, but is part of the ambiance. And you know what? Hazel actually does decent against this Goliath. For a bit.
They are.
And it's all topped off with Miles revealing that the club was all the guys to sleep with girls that they never went to juvie. It was a very Wedding Crasher-esque moment. And this is a moment where the performances out of the other girls is just so solid. We get to see that genuine hurt and confusion on Isabel and Brittany's faces. They thought they finally found a place where they were valued for who they were as people and not for what they looked like. Even Mr. G feels betrayed.
Y'all exploited my solidarity. I played the role of an amazing ally.
And this leads in to the greatest needle drop of Avril Lavigne's Complicated. But I just have to say that not nearly enough people reacted to that song choice at the South by Southwest premiere. Do the youngins not get Avril Lavigne? Do they don't get down with Complicated? It was so good. It was the perfect choice and a nice little nod to Canada where Seligman is from. Let's go Canada. So they put a montage to this entire song where you've got PJ and Josie not being friends anymore because Josie's pissed that Isabel doesn't like her, and when they had a thing going, and then that PJ didn't get what she wanted, so they kind of go back and forth at each other. Mr. G is against feminism now. Isabel ends up back with Jeff, which is where we get that look on Brittany's face that I'd mentioned earlier that, we already know she just does whatever Isabel does, but you can just see this look of exasperated disappointment that things are just going back to exactly the way they were before. It's such a little look, but it was so good. But it's the night before the big match against Huntington, which is when their old babysitter tells Josie that Huntington always tries to kill a Rockbridge player every time they play, then the whole match will just turn into a violent shit show. So she rushes off to apologize to PJ and get the club back together to try to save the day. And once again, Hazel tries to blow something up as a distraction, but it doesn't work this time, so they keep trying to get the cheerleaders to kiss as a distraction, but they're all still mad, so PJ and Hazel kiss. And it's just so good, and then the way the music choice and the swell of the music in that moment is it's so good. They did so good. Try not to yell in this hotel. And this is when Josie realizes what the final plan is, because there's no one on the field and it's super weird. Jeff is super allergic to pineapple and notices that something on the field seemed to taste weird. Then she finds these massive empty containers of pineapple juice. So the plan is apparently mid-game to run the sprinklers and kill Jeff, which leads to an all-out brawl. Where yes, people die. The bounds of reality are officially broken for this moment in time as people are just getting run through with the mascot's sword, punched into oblivion. It's super fun, while Josie manages to run Jeff off the field just in time.
Oh, no.
This is also the moment where I realize I'm pretty sure the mascot just has a giant wang, so good for them, I guess. Yep, found some pictures, definite wang action. But yeah, it's just this nice little cute ending where everybody apologizes for the things they did wrong. I'm pretty sure PJ and Hazel realize that they're into each other. Josie and Isabel get together after she's you could have just talked to me. And it's just fun, it's simple, I can't wait to see it again. I would have lived for this movie in high school the way I lived for Debs, and this honestly just means so much to me to see it now as it would have then. So thank you again, Emma Seligman and Rachel Sennott, for just putting in that good work. It does the soul good. But yeah, that is Bottoms. I know I didn't go super deep in a lot of things because I still want people to go out and see it, and so much of it is just jokes and comedy and these fun little quips back and forth. And if you're into the style of comedy, you're gonna have a blast. I just so strongly recommend seeing this movie. I really, really enjoy it. And I hope you guys do too. So far, so many people have been sending me little messages saying that they've seen it or and just because I've been recommending it. And that's always so nice to to hear. But that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys are thinking down below. If you've seen the movie, what did you think? If not, are you excited? Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on the video if you're into that kind of thing. And all my social medias are listed down below if you want to keep up with me there. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm mostly okay, and we'll catch you all later.